Welcome to another fantastic episode of Prop Talk, for the official Prop Talk of the PMG. We have a special guest in the room, first of all, but also we have a special guest who's not in the room. Not a guest, but I'm just going to cut to it. Mikey's not here today. This is the first time I'm flying solo. How about that, Peach? Flying solo here.
I like that because we started together. So
yes,
you and I guess that's not solo.
Yeah, we will get into that. We go way back, but yeah, Mikey's on the East Coast, deep in the mix of his show, and that's something we could talk about too at some point. Just that whole notion of like when you're on a show, like your peripheral vision just like gets like really narrow, and the next thing you know, all you're doing is hyper focusing on the show, and everything else seems like a dream. Does that work? Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Everybody,
no, you're speaking the truth,
and
that what you're talking about, leads to divorce. So be careful. I have not been divorced yet, thank God. My wife for 20 something years has been putting up with my bullshit.
That's right. Let's shout out to the wives.
Yes, 100%.
Champs for putting up with this business, for sure. The ups and downs and everything else. But again, everybody, Parker Swanson is in the room. I have to say that of anybody I've had on this podcast, PJ and I go back the furthest. We've been through some stuff, huh, Parker?
Oh, we've seen some shit. Can I cuss on this podcast?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, we've seen some shit. That is for sure. And when you asked me to come on, I automatically just started thinking about this shit. And I have some stories.
Yes, I know. Oh, that's right. You were there for the ninja story.
Oh, yeah. Oh, please.
I'd love to hear what your version is of that, because I mean, mine was kind of scary.
I was out behind the cameras watching the whole thing in a whole wide view, and people like, what the fuck is going? Who is that? What's going on? And then I was like, this might be this might be going terribly wrong.
That was not a good day. Well, I mean, I don't know. It was a fun day.
It was, and it got sorted out.
And then it got sorted out. So now everybody's like, hey, you assholes. We don't know what you're talking about. So I'll go quick so we're not like dragging it out forever. But Parker and I worked on a movie many moons ago, like 20 something years ago, right now, Peach?
Yeah.
It's called, all right, it's right there.
I actually pulled up my
more than that. Good God. So almost 30 years ago? That's crazy.
Yeah, close to 30 years ago.
Good God. Anyway, it's called The Trigger Effect. And the great screenwriter David Koepp, it was his directorial debut.
Yeah, 2022.
Yeah, it was
released. So it was earlier than that.
They what?
Released in 2022, so it was earlier than that.
2022? No.
Not
22. 20
exactly. I confused.
They waited 20 years to release this movie.
2002.
Anyway, so David was directing for the first time. He was nervous, and we were shooting on a set that was like a kitchen. It was on stage at Universal, and it was a kitchen that was being remodeled. So it was under construction. There was all this scaffolding on the outside. I'm giving the 25-cent story. And Kyle MacLachlan was in this movie, and Dermot Mulroney and Elizabeth Shue. Okay, and Kyle and Dermot were pranksters of the first order. They were doing stuff
Uh-huh.
to each other the whole show. And of course, they dragged us into it whenever they felt it was necessary. Um, so
Hey, can you guys get us this
Pig's
or
Head, or
a pig's head or yeah,
right,
exactly.
or Kyle found the dead coyote on the side of the road in Sacramento.
Can you pick up the dead coyote on the side of the road?
Do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're on stage at uni. We were shooting in Sacramento. We're back on stage. We're deep in the show. We're all very comfortable. And then Kyle and Dermot come up to me and say, "Hey, we got this idea." Because David keeps telling us about this um, dream that he had where ninjas came in and took him hostage or something like that. It wasn't that was right? Something like that on that order.
Yeah, yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. He
He
got
was
accosted
he
by
was for David kept epic writer was for whatever reason afraid of ninjas.
of ninjas. Yeah,
Of
exactly.
ninjas, yes.
But what I can't remember in this story, and now I'm already getting long, is what was the phrase that the ninja said to him? Do you remember that?
No, but I remember there being a phrase
There
which
was a
set
certain
him off.
phrase
Yeah, there
that
was a
stuck out in his
certain
head.
yeah, a
So
hundred
they said,
percent.
listen, we got with costumes, we got this ninja costume. And so in the middle of a take, we want you to like jump down from the scaffolding and run onto the set.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of scaffold.
Yeah, outside the
You
kitchen.
explained, yeah, it was under construction, so there's
Right.
scaffolding on the back of the kitchen. Yes.
Exactly. So they wanted me to run down, run into set, run up to David Kep at the director's chair and utter this line, like, I don't know,
Whatever it was. Yes.
whatever it was, the I see you, whatever. And then that was it. Okay. And we thought that was hilarious. So it's going to be great. And we worked it out with the DP where we were going to wait until we got all the shots and David was happy and felt like he got seen. And then the DP was going to say, "Oh, I need one more for camera." And that was going to be my cue. So I made my way up to the top of the scaffolding. It was all really cool. I was nervous as hell because I thought this might not go well, but nonetheless. So we're waiting. And then I get the cue. Now, the other part of this story that comes into play here that I didn't know, well, I kind of knew, but I didn't really think about it was a day that all of the brass from Universal was
Right.
on set. There was like all these money guys sitting at the chairs with David.
Uh,
And you know, so I'm sure that made me even more nervous.
and David was also associated with Spielberg. So
Right.
there was
It was,
like all
yeah, it was
those
Hamlet.
people were there
Yes, that's right. I think Kathy Kennedy was there, somebody like
for
that.
sure.
Yeah. So it was kind of like there was some bigwigs there, but we got all wrapped up in what we were doing. Nonetheless, I get my cue. I in the middle of the take, I jumped down from the scaffolding and went in a big boom on set,
Oh yeah,
and
it made noise.
it made noise. And I think somebody even said, "What the hell?" And I come running in the set, and I run up to David Kep, and I say, "The eyes upon you," or whatever the hell that was. And he looks at me and he goes, "Yeah, funny." And then I just exit right as fast as I can, running off the set, and got out of those clothes as fast as humanly possible. And we all got together and agreed that we would never say anything. I begged. I was like, "Please don't ever
We're
tell
just gonna
David."
let that go.
I don't think he knows. Someday I'll run into him and
I
maybe we'll
can
find out. Anyway, that
that
just killed like 15 minutes of our podcast.
that moment is crystallized in my brain where I saw your body drop down from like the perms onto the first set of the scaffolding and then scamper down and then run through the set and come out to David Kep. And I thought, this is hilarious. And apparently he didn't think it was all that
Did
funny.
not think it was funny. Um, it would be funny to find out if he thinks it's funny now.
I
Anyway,
have I have another story about
okay.
this is my story about that show, which is the first show. That's where we met, right?
Mm, mm-mm. No, because you did some. Oh, was it Alias? Oh no, yeah, I think it was.
I think that was the first show we worked on.
Doing some assisting.
That was the Witness. That was the Whitney summer, and the summer that the uh, Jagged Little Pill came out,
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
and the what was the other? Who's the disgraced band?
A disgraced band from the 90s. Who could that be?
Yes. Um. Oh, I can't remember
Anyway.
the band. The guy got in trouble for sexual assault or
Oh,
something like that.
I
The
don't
guy
know.
who plays the trumpet. They played the trumpet. The trumpet band. We
A
liked them.
trumpet band. Cake? No.
Cake, exactly.
Oh, Cake. Oh, that
They're
okay.
like a
Not
big
the drummer.
famous album came out that year with Cake,
Yes, I know. That was huge.
and Jagged Little Pill came out, and we were
Yes,
singing
of
that for
course. Yeah,
you
I was
as
going through a
we
breakup. It was
prepared in the bungalows at Amblin.
yes.
We were living large, my friend. Like
That's
we're
right.
in Spielberg territory. Our offices are at Amblin.
I know that was pretty big.
So anyway, we I have two stories about this show,
Okay.
which I
You gotta
felt
tell me your favorite one because then we gotta
okay. Favorite one is
right.
that uh, do you remember the producer Michael somebody?
Michael Grillo, who's now
Grillo. Yeah, Michael Grillo.
yeah, he's an executive now.
He and when we were on the lot at Universal for dailies, we were using the ambulance screening room,
Right.
and Michael kept saying to me, "You should come look at the dailies." And I was like, "I'm just a prop assistant. I don't." And he goes, "Yeah,
You did have a part in the movie.
I did have a part in the movie. That's true."
He was
Um,
cosmetic. Go ahead.
um, and Michael kept not kept, but would say, "Hey, you should come look at dailies. You should come look at dailies." And I'm thinking, I'm not supposed to do that. I'm just a prop assistant. I'm just,
Right.
you know, a normal crew guy.
And props, yeah.
And he kind of kept it up. And Kevin, he said one day, for somebody who works as hard as you do, you should come and look at the dailies.
Nice.
So when we got to Universal on the lot, I knew we were screening dailies at the Amblin screening room.
Mhm.
And I thought, uh, oh, this would be a great opportunity for me to go check out
Dailies.
Steven Spielberg's screening room.
Right.
So one day I decided, all right, I'm going to go to, uh, I'm going to go to dailies. Have I told you
No
the
idea where this is
story?
going. No, I have no idea where this is going.
So I'm like, okay, he's been inviting me. I'm going to go to dailies today. So I go to dailies and I sit down, and it's David Kep and Elizabeth Shue and Kyle and other people who I don't know,
Right.
and they flip up the dailies on the screen, and it instantly I understand that what I'm watching is a scene where Elizabeth Shue is disrobing, and I just I didn't understand that the dailies like they happened the next yeah,
Oh
it was
my God.
literally like by chance. I was like, and I was,
Did you wear a trench coat?
oh my God, it was fucking horrible. I was
Oh my
like,
God.
here, now what am I going to do? Get up and leave in
Right.
the middle of the
Right.
thing?
Oh
It
man.
was
Did
unbelievable.
did you get the side eye from Elizabeth? Like,
I, I did. I think she may have said something to me later because she's
yeah, I would imagine.
terrific and she's very funny.
Yeah.
I did. In hindsight, I was auditioning therapists some years later,
Right.
and I was in a waiting room of this therapy office that somebody had recommended, and I was
Mhm.
waiting to go in, and the door opened, and it was Elizabeth. And I go, Oh my God, hi. And she goes, hi, how are you? And then she said, apparently not great. She's lovely.
She was great. They were all great. We had a lot of fun on that show for
We
sure.
did. We did.
Not the best movie ever made, but we had a lot of fun. And Michael Rooker too. Someday
Oh,
tell the story about Michael Rooker bringing his own six-shooter to set.
God. What a nightmare. You tell the story.
Yeah, not now. We can do this all night, Parker.
I know, we could.
Freaking night. So I know a little bit about your origin story. I know you're from Denver, the suburb of Denver, right? Or Denver
Denver
proper.
proper.
Denver proper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so how did you find yourself in this business? I know you wanted to be an actor originally, yes?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Didn't we all?
No, I wanted to be a writer.
And you are quite good at it, I
Yeah,
might add.
thank you. It's not really.
Um,
um,
as opposed to me, who I wasn't, I'm not a great actor.
Well, how much acting did you do? Did you act in college?
I did all, I studied theater and
Hmm.
cinema all through college and into graduate school. I had 1 year of graduate school, and then uh, I was dismissed from graduate school for behavior that was not great.
Okay.
I don't think I'm prepared to even talk about it. What it
Well,
was he? No, no, no. It
it's a
wasn't.
true story. I can only make a
It wasn't.
guess. No.
I had a professor who, unfortunately, I knew a lot more than he knew,
Uh, that's not
and we got into it one day, and that turned into a bit of a screaming match,
Oh, geez. Oh,
and I was dismissed.
wow, that's nice.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
much for debate.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, so I had a little bit of graduate school at Florida State, and then I went back. I went. My undergraduate degree was in New Mexico,
Okay.
and then I came back to New Mexico and got a job. No, I got to go back. I'm sorry. You can edit this all out.
Yeah,
My senior year in New Mexico, the summer, I was working at the theater behind the scenes doing scenery and all that stuff.
right.
And then the circus came to town, and on the call board, which is not unlike a call sheet,
Right.
they were looking for people to come to work on this Kenny Rogers TV show.
Ah,
Kenny
okay.
Rogers series. And it wasn't a series. Maybe it was
Right.
like a movie of the week.
Or
The
special.
I think it was The Gambler 2. It was
Uh,
either The Gambler 1 or The Gambler 2.
oh, that masterpiece.
That masterpiece. And I was like, okay, I'm working in the theater during the day. I'm working at Animal Lumber at night.
Hmm.
It's summer. This seems like a good job. So I signed on the set decoration department, which was paying me $350 a week.
Yeah, baby.
And I was living the dream, my
Right.
friend.
I know,
Not
right?
only did I meet all these famous people, there was food everywhere. I ate as much as I could. There was booze, there
Uh,
was beer, there was parties, all these things. And I did that for one summer and I was done. I'm like,
we're in.
I'm in.
But what other things did you act in? Did you act, I mean, I see you have a couple acting credits besides the medic on Trigger Effect where you said
Yeah, they were mostly
these.
nothing I nothing that I auditioned for.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my
Oh, I
notes
see. They were
now.
just like stuff that you were
Yeah,
working on.
people are like, "Oh, you're an actor? Okay, we're gonna throw you in here. You
Good.
want to do this? Yeah, okay."
That's like another whole podcast, Parker, where we could break down why you had to give up acting. But nonetheless, I'm
Yeah,
glad you did because you know,
you know what? It's
once
I didn't give it up. It gave up me. I literally like I was thinking before we're having this conversation,
uh-huh.
like I used to be so much better publicly,
Oh,
like being able to be in the public
right.
and being popular and making a, and I don't have that anymore. I don't. When we were at the MacGuffin Awards,
Get out of you.
at the MacGuffin Awards,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh
Which
my,
you were nominated twice, 2 years.
thank you.
Very nice.
2 years in a row. Thank you. Um, I was thinking, oh my God, if I have to make a speech, this is going to be tragic.
So I had that same notion when I was there last year. I was like, oh man, people prepared shit. What am I gonna say? And it's like I was just gonna go up and thank my crew. It's like okay, I was kind of relieved that I didn't win, but
Yeah, me too. I knew I wasn't going to win this year. I think I should have won this year. But when I look back on it, Palm
you
Royale,
were up against the studio,
I was a
right?
no, because mine was a period show.
Well, so was the or wait, oh, what was
No,
it?
that's modern.
Oh, it was
I was up against Shogun.
what?
Shogun.
Shogun?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I know.
I know. But having said that, the work that you do on Palm Royale is amazing because I want to hear that story too. I want the story of the gun.
Uh, the gun that gets thrown into the ocean.
The gun that never fires that gets thrown into the ocean. Yeah,
Yes.
that had to be not real. Um, but we'll get to that. Let's keep moving on here. Um, so how did you get into props then? I mean, what was that transition from sets to props?
Well, I started in New Mexico and signed on to be a set dresser for this show. And then I went to graduate school.
Right.
And when that didn't work out, I was looking for a job. And I had a girl who I was in the theater program with in New Mexico who had
Mm,
moved out to Los Angeles, whose roommate was, do you remember Greg Rainwater,
no.
the actor? He was on some famous Western in the 90s.
Okay.
But he had moved to Arizona to do his show. And she's like, and I was trying to figure out whether I wanted to go to New York or I wanted to go to Los Angeles. And she was like, you should just come out here. I have a room. So I moved into that house, which I'm sure you've been to on Melbourne,
Oh yeah.
that little 2 bedroom craftsman.
Wow. Okay.
I lived there for
I was gonna say,
20
and now
years.
you live like one street over,
I
right?
would live about 5 blocks
5 blocks.
north of
Right.
that house.
Wow.
So when I got to Los Angeles, I called the people who I'd worked with in college and said, "Hey, I need a job." And they're like, "Oh, come be a set dresser on this. Come be a set dresser on this." And that's how I got into the union.
Right. So you got in union as a set dresser.
Yes, the
Nice.
first time.
Right.
And then then I went into production and was an AD for a number of years,
Oh, that's right.
a non union AD.
Right.
Lost my union membership. And then there was a strike at some point,
Uh,
and then got back into the union as a set dresser, and then decided I didn't want to carry anything heavier than a couch.
I hear you,
And
brother.
then I met you.
Yeah, nice. That's kind of like my story too. It's like started in set dressing. I was like, yeah, moving filing cabinets,
Not great.
not great. And then you like dress these beautiful sets, and then and then the crew shows up, and you walk away, and it's just like, oh, MB team, okay. You miss all the action. So
Yeah, it's not even that. You go in and you decorate this set, and all my kudos to set decorators and set
amen.
dressers and the jobs they do are incredible. But then the company comes in and they fucking destroy everything. And then you go back and you're like, why is all this food still in these plates? Why am I cleaning this up? I don't understand.
That's nice.
And why is the bed in 14 parts? And why is the scenery
Because it was
off?
the last shot of the day, and they tore the bed apart, and then they went home.
Exactly. So
Well, you were
that
an
was
on-set
the
dresser on Tracy Takes On, I see. Yeah.
I want no. I did props on Tracy Takes On.
Oh, on-set prop. Oh,
I
never
think
mind. So
then
you did you run the set on that thing?
no, you know who did?
Who?
Angela Whiting.
Ah, nice. And so
And
is Angela somebody who trained you?
I would say, yeah, for sure. Her and Linda Reese.
Oh man, those are good teachers right
They
there.
are.
What did
They
you work with Linda Reese on?
oh boy, I did a bunch of stuff with her. Um
Oh, American Beauty.
Yeah, I was I don't know how I got that on my IMDb page, but yes, I was a day player on that. But
Oh
we did
man.
a series called uh Pray, and I did quite a bit with Linda, and she
Well,
was
that's good.
great and a great education.
So you worked for Linda Reese, you worked for Angela Wedding, you worked for me because we did a few things together. And when was your first time? Well, because you were my onset on Studio 60 on Sunset Strip.
Yes,
That
with
was
Buddy.
with Buddy Ray Reynolds,
Yep.
infamous. Um, but when was the first thing you broke? Oh, Alias. Was that the first thing you mastered?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you and I did it for a couple of seasons
I
together.
did
I was your
four and you
assistant.
did five. I did four, one through four, and you did five, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was your exactly. I was your assistant for that time with the beautiful Dave Pahoa
Dave Pahoa and Butch Kitchen,
and Butch, who I still see at ISS.
Ron
Oh
Licari.
man, yeah, Ron. I haven't seen Ron Licari in forever.
Yeah, he's in Atlanta now. And Butchie,
He's
Butch,
still here.
he's still here, but he's moving back east. But he's still in the game. Don't forget Butch Kitchen.
He
He's
is. I've
moving
seen
back.
him, and I'd love to see him.
Yeah, I just saw him a week and a half or so ago. But he's working with Robbie Duncan. They're doing
Oh,
good.
good. Butch reminds me of an Alias story
Yeah.
post Chris Call, which this would be a great opportunity for me to thank you
Ah,
because you pushed me to be a prop master
yes. Because
because
you were so good. And you
you
kept
were
saying, I don't want to be a prop master.
it's too much.
And you turned into a freaking awesome prop master.
And yeah, you pushed me in our little office with remember
Oh yeah.
the little window next to
Where the Pahoa was in. Dave Pahoa was
the little to go
represented his
window.
face in the window.
It's
Yeah.
so dumb.
I also have to tell people too, that was the show where um um oh God, what's it? Halo. Halo was
Yep.
huge.
Yep.
And like Halo 1 came out and we got Xboxes and it became this thing where if you've ever been on the stages at Disney, they're like surrounded by gold rooms. Okay.
Right.
Well, they're like in the hallway right outside the stage. And there was like a whole row of them and every department had one. And by the end of I don't know what season it was.
There everybody was in those rooms.
What we was the it was either Grip or Electric had figured out how to daisy chain all of our computers so we could all play Halo live with each other
I
in their
remember.
rooms.
I
And then they
remember.
would, and then they actually built a Halo into a Pelican case and with a projector, and they would go on whenever we went on location, they would broadcast it on the side of the camera truck
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
playing Halo. That's how crazy we were for Halo. Anyway, so Alias, and Lori.
Pete Clark
What about Petey?
introduced me to the Pretty
Oh,
Pony.
to the Pretty Pony. Nice.
Oh,
I so this would be a great time for me
no.
after 50 something freaking episodes for me again to shout out to Laura Eiler, the great.
Laura, you're amazing.
I mean, she's the goat for
And
sure.
and after 35 years, I finally found a lawyer.
A lawyer.
A
Wait a minute.
lawyer. A Laura Eiler of my own.
Yes, you have Katie, right?
Oh yeah, she smokes.
And here we are, people. And I don't have to tell anybody this, but especially in television, your right hand person repping with you. If you don't have that person dialed in, you're dying. Okay.
Yeah,
Again, I say it and I'll say it over and over again. I would not do this job anymore if Laura decided not to do it.
I agree with
Because
Katie.
we have a second hand language. We don't even have to talk. We get scripts, we read them independently of each other. She knows what she's doing. I know what I'm doing, and then it all gets done, and it's crazy. So yeah, big shout out to Laura Eiler, and yes, and we both all did Alias together, which was intense.
Which is another.
Which is another when we had a lot of fun on that show, though, right?
We did.
I loved the Disney. I haven't been back there since.
I have not either. Oh wait, no, you were back there for a short term on something because I
I
came at
was,
this
or you
point.
were.
What was that?
I was, or you were.
No, I think you did something there because I remember coming back there and day playing one day.
Hmm,
Maybe it was just renting a set or something.
maybe. Um,
Doesn't matter.
so who you right? You did the Last Samurai. That's a big thing,
I
and I've
did.
heard some stories about Last Samurai from you. Talk about the size of the crew on that movie.
Um,
Who's
I,
the master
I
on that?
would start with the 800 to 1,000 extras
Yeah.
in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
And shocking to all, there's not that many Japanese people in New Zealand. So they had to fly in
Wow.
Japanese people to be in the background
800 extra.
in
Wow.
the extras. And this is all Dave Gulick. This is 100% Dave Gulick figuring all this out. I sort of handle Tom Cruise.
Right.
That's a dumb way to say it. I was kind of
Right.
I focused on Tom Cruise.
Yeah, he probably needs a specific person.
He does.
Yeah.
Um,
Carrying a lot.
but when you're marching 800 people into samurai warfare and all of the swords and arrows and bows and equipment and all that stuff, we had set up these enormous tents, like circus tent size, where the normal Japanese people would come in the front door and they would go through hair and makeup and go through all that stuff. And then we'd go into costumes, get their costumes, and they would go through the prop department and get their swords or their spears or whatever,
Mm,
implement they needed. And they would come out the other side. And we call that the sausage factory.
right.
And we did that day after day after day. And we probably employed, I should say, Dave probably employed somewhere between 30 and 40 prop people for that purpose.
Right. No.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was incredible.
And
And
how long were you there for that?
I was in New Zealand for 6 months on that
Yeah.
show.
Amazing.
And I literally, I would stand next to the camera and watch these scenes happen. And then I would, as if I was an AD,
That's right.
say on the prop channel on the radio, so and so needs this, so and so needs this, so and so needs this. We need four more of these. We need some katanas here. We need some of this over here. That guy needs a spear. That guy needs a bow and arrow. That got broke. And here goes the prop minions out and sort it all out to reset.
Nice.
Take yeah,
Right, I remember
it
that.
was unbelievable.
You were like Prop AD.
Yeah, I was like a prop AD.
Yeah.
I literally stood next to the
Sometimes you
camera.
need that. Have you ever done anything that big since?
No,
Okay.
no,
That's pretty
and, and never will.
epic. No desire, right?
Yeah, no, I loved it. It was incredible, but because of the advances in AI and all of that,
Oh, that's
we're
true.
never going to see scenes where they actually have to have 800 individuals in the background, which
Hewlett
is
soon.
kind of
We'll
depressing.
talk about she did
Oh,
a lot of that.
say that again.
Jane Hewlett, Jason Momoa showed Chief
Yeah,
or
I haven't seen it, but I want to see it.
yeah. Um, that looked epic. And that was I'm sure they did a bunch of CGI, but I think they did a lot of real live action on that sucker.
It's a big difference, and again, I'll never see a show like that. And Dave Gulick or Jane Gulick will never see a show like that again because it's too easy now.
Yeah,
It's up
that's
it's up to the courts.
well, I'm gonna just touch on a couple of things if because if people don't know you, again, when I look back at your resume, I didn't even know a lot of these things that you did. I mean, I know we've talked all the time, and we pass each other shows here and there. But I mean, I know you did Ray Donovan, but then you also did what was the one that you swapped cities? The affair,
Uh,
right?
the affair. Yep,
Yeah. Um, and then you also did 12 episodes of Californication, right?
I did, which is
Well,
also a really terrific story.
yeah, talk about that show. That was a great show.
It was a great show, and I had a great time doing it. Um, I co-prop mastered it with Skip Torvinen.
All right, Skip, nice.
I had been working with the producers of Ray Donovan and House of Lies.
Mm,
Thankfully, they kept me employed for a very long time. And then Skip Torvinen got, I think it was throat cancer,
yike.
and they wanted to use him to come back, but they were afraid that he wasn't healthy enough to do it.
Right,
So they hired me, and the two of us did it together,
I see.
which gave Skip the opportunity to go out and that's all the producers.
Right,
That's Lou Ficero and John,
whatever the hell his name is.
whatever his little name is. Um, but that was those guys. So we
Right,
twinned up on that.
nice. I remember back in the day, people talking about doing rotating property masters, and somebody proposed that to me once, and I chose not. I actually said I would rather have just another assistant. That would help me too.
100%.
Or a shopper, because then they weren't giving me shoppers. So I was like, well, if you just gave me a shopper, I wouldn't need to do that. And but I always wondered, because ADs do it and directors do it, but I thought that might be interesting to do. But now it's such a routine. that I can't imagine. I also like to have creative control of whatever show.
100%. And you know, creative control, I think, is probably at the pinnacle of what we want. The other thing is that we want to have continuity,
Right.
and it's just not. It's a bad recipe to have
Yeah.
two prop masters. I mean, the DPs can go back and look at the footage and look at the lighting and look at all these things, and we don't have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it's true. So where am I? Oh, there. I know. Wow, there's so much. I could jump all over this place. I mean, I don't know. You did Orange County. That's like one of my favorite movies. Did you
That
have fun
one,
on that? Tell me you had fun on that show.
it was so fun. I'm trying
Hey,
to.
um, yeah. Tell me something funny about that show. Or fun.
I will tell you a very funny story about that show. We were like, if people on Prop Talk, if you haven't seen this show, go watch it because it's like
Hmm.
who's who of early 2000s actors and
Right.
before that it's a giant cast. So there was a scene, one of the family in the show had a dog, and it was a Jack Russell Terrier who played a fairly significant part in the movie, and it was great. And we were shooting a scene where Skylar Fisk was holding the dog.
Right.
Have I showed you this?
No.
Okay. Skylar Fisk is holding the dog in her arms, and the dog's face is right up to her face.
Uh-oh.
And I, being a avid dog lover and a self-taught, um, understandable person of dogs,
Mm-hmm.
as they rehearsed this scene and she was holding this dog, I can tell that the dog was not comfortable in
Yeah.
her arms
Right.
right up next to her face
Eesh.
during the rehearsal. So I went to the animal trainer, who I don't remember who that was, and I said, I, I got a bad feeling about this. And the animal trainer was like, yeah, no, 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 it's all good. It's all
Uh,
good.
as they always say.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be fine. So they rolled camera and Skylar turned to look at the dog and the dog bit her right in the face.
Oh.
Just chunk.
And they draw blood?
It did not, thankfully, did not draw blood,
Thank God.
but I was just like, because
You saw it coming.
in the day, we were kind of in control of
That's right.
animals. It was sort of
Yes.
our
You
job.
hired the dog trainer, the whole nine yards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all that. So I was just mortified. And thankfully, the dog just nipped her in the face.
Ooh.
But then when the show got released, when the
Right.
trailer got released, before the movie got released, I watched the trailer and that scene was in the trailer. Y'all can look it up.
Without the dog biting her in the face.
With the dog
They
biting her in the
was the dog
face.
supposed to nip at her?
No, no,
But they used it. That's crazy.
they use it
Well, good thing she's a country girl, right? Because she
100%.
handled it like a trooper.
Which
You ever listen to her music? She's got an amazing voice, Skylar.
Skylar?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, you have to look her up.
I also worked with her dad,
Yeah, Jack.
Jack Fisk,
There's no
on a Terrence Malick movie.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about next, buddy. Knight of Cups. Okay, because you're like a hero to me on this one because tell what it's like to work with Terrence Malick and no script. Go. Give me the props.
I would like to introduce it by saying that I met with Jack Fisk, and I had heard of all these other prop masters who had already met with him, and they were like my proteges and my people I was looking up to, and all these people who I'm like, oh, I could never, you know,
Right.
live up to these epic prop masters. And I sat down with Jack, and he said, um, "So you're interested in this?" And I said, "Yeah." "Do you know anything about Terrence?" I said, "Not really, other than he's a prolific filmmaker." He goes, "Yeah, okay. Well, um, let me just tell you a few things. There's never going to be a script." Or he said, "There's no script."
Right.
And I said, "Oh, when am I going to get a script?" "You're not." And I said, "There's no, I'm never going to get a script." "No, Terry knows what he wants." uh, okay, okay. And then he says, "Terry doesn't like production vehicles, like trailers and that sort of stuff. He doesn't want to see any of that." And I go, "Okay." And he says, "We'll rent your trailer and your kit, but it's not going to go on the show. We'll pay you for it, but it's not going to go on the show."
Wow.
Okay, okay.
Where did you keep all your stuff?
And then I said, "Where am I going to keep all my stuff?" And he goes, "You're probably going to have a Sprinter van, and you're probably going to share it with like special effects and paint."
Wow.
And I
All
was
right.
like, "Oh, okay." And I said, is there an outline or something to go with? Because I don't even know what the show is about."
Right.
And he says, "Yeah, you should talk to Jackie West, the costume designer. She's probably going to have kind of an idea about what's going on." And I say, "Okay, great." And then he said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, I'm still here. It sounds interesting." And he goes, "All right, well, we're interested in you." He said, "Do you have any thoughts?" And I said, "You're asking me for everything and nothing." And he said, "You're hired."
And that's how it played out, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
that
but
was
so
it.
tell us about the process, the day-to-day process. How did you know what for the day?
Jack told me that Terry was going to be very dependent on me about certain things and not so much on other things, which
Hmm.
is the case 100%. Like, there were daily occurrences where Terry would come up to me and say things like, uh, I don't want to do my imitation of Terry, but
Okay.
because I think I'll get sued. He would say, "Parker, I'm going to need a chain." And then he would scuttle off into a corner to look at, and I would be like, a chain? Like a chain for somebody's neck? A chain to tow a truck? 2-inch links, 4-inch links, aged, not aged? I don't understand what you
What?
mean.
Yeah.
And I would go out and I would buy 15 different options of chains and show up the next day and say, "Here's your chains." And he'd say, "Oh, fucking brilliant. This is exactly what we need." And it would be a giant chains of some person walking down the street with chains around their neck.
Wow.
And that was one day he asked me, he said, "I'm going to need An offering. We were in shooting in Palm Springs in the
Right.
desert, and it was 125 degrees. And he said, I'm gonna need some kind of an offering, something that is somebody can put on a pedestal. And I was just like, okay. So I went out in the desert and
Something from the natural world.
no, he didn't say that. He just said, I need an offering. So I went out and walked through the 125-degree desert and picked up this plant that I thought was really cool
Uh-huh.
and brought it back. And I said, how's this for an offering? Yeah, that's fucking brilliant. And I was
Wow.
like, okay.
So I mean, that's synchronicity, man. So where did you find some, were there times when he asked you for something, you brought it back and he's like, no, that's not it.
There was one time where Christian Bale needed a cell phone, and the cell phone was in the Sprinter van because I don't know what's going on.
Right.
And I said, it's going to take me a minute to get the cell phone. And he was like, one thing. I ask you for one thing. And it's just like, okay, okay. It was literally 45 days of deep being disappointed in my job. Like I didn't do enough. I didn't succeed because I'm trying to succeed, but I can't because I don't have the information.
Right.
He would say to me things like, uh, Parker, it would be great if the actors had something to do. And I'd be like, it'd be great to know what their relationship is, where we are in respect to their relationship, what's happening. And I would come on with a bowl of grapes. Oh, yeah, that's great.
Grapes is grapes is always the go-to.
Yeah, go to grapes
You ever
every
notice
single
that?
time.
It's absolutely true. You can do a lot with grapes, and they're
I,
clean. They're not messy. If they want to eat them, it's easy to eat. You can eat them all day. Oh,
but you can choke on them too.
wow.
I'm just saying.
Um,
So the Terrence Malick experience, I would refer listeners to this podcast to go back to a GQ interview with him from now a GQ interview with the crew from the 90s where it's just a tragic airplane crash into two people and a camera finishing up a film. That was my experience. It was it was rough. It was rough.
no doubt.
Terry, if you're listening to this, give me a call.
Yeah, I want to do it again. Let's, yeah. I mean, I guess it's one of those filmmakers where either you get it or you don't. I mean,
Yeah, and I thought I got it until I worked on the production, and it was as if you were working on a student film, and then multiple people decided to do it the worst way you could possibly do it. I
right,
mean, there were literally, for example, we would go out shooting on the street in the afternoon, and the cameras were rolling all the time. Like at
right,
8 o'clock, the cameras, and this is film times. It was like mag after mag after mag after mag after mag. We would go out in the afternoon and we would do the death march to the beach where we
right.
just start walking backlit. That was Terry's thing. That was Chibo's thing. This backlit thing, and we'd
Uh,
go. We would walk for miles, and me like well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen next? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? Walk and walk and walk and walk. And then, yeah, that was every afternoon for 30 days.
That's nuts.
It is.
Driving
One day we came to a train station and the actors and the camera got on the train and left. And everybody else was just the rest of the crew was standing there like, wonder where they're going. Yeah, no, it was nuts.
That's crazy.
It was nuts.
I heard that on the Thin Red Line, they had set up this like multi-camera shop with you were the one who told me, right?
Yep.
Yes,
Where they're doing this strafing run with the
all these.
bombs coming from a neighboring air force from another island, and they had all the effects were set up for the strafing run and the bombs and all that stuff. And here come they're saying they're the Air Force is this far away. It's 10 minutes away. It's 5 minutes away. It's 4 minutes away, 3 minutes away. And Terry saw a bird in the sky and was like, all the cameras, look at that bird. And they turned all the cameras to this bird flying in the sky. And then this multi, at the time, probably $1,000 strafing run with all these explosions went off when all the cameras are looking at a bird flying in the sky.
Nice. Yeah, they don't let people make movies like that anymore.
Yeah,
It's too expensive. I guess they could do it with AI. Um, I here's a you have listed as one episode of The Leftovers. Did you do the pilot on The Leftovers?
I did they came to LA and did a sizable portion of the leftovers for the pilot, and that's what I did.
I see.
I don't know why I got listed for it, but I did.
That was a great show. That was
I
a great.
also didn't get listed for season 2 of Palm Royale
Oh, how about that?
or um,
I got to catch up on that.
Rescue High Surf. It's not on my IMDb.
When did you do that? Rescue High Surf.
That was coming right off of the strike.
I see. And that all shot here in LA.
No, that shot in Oahu.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's right. I remember now.
I went there with Hector.
So, and going over there and like living in the lap of luxury on the ocean.
My my in my not giant, but in my basically a mansion.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. That and then,
Yeah,
but you still had to work, so you didn't really get to enjoy it that much, right?
yeah, work-ish. We only shot days. There was no nights.
I know that's nice.
Yeah, it was a pretty darn good gig, and picking up the foreign money was not bad, or the location money.
Uh-huh. Sweet. Um, so talk about Palm Royale. That's your latest and greatest, right?
It is.
And that's an epic endeavor. I've seen the show. It's period. It's busy. So and you get to work with Carol Burnett. So
Yeah,
that's pretty sweet. And it's
that's pretty.
yep.
Um, thinking about trigger effect again
Yeah.
as I was urinating. Do you remember we did the ice cream truck,
Yes.
and we this was either before we knew how to make fake ice cream or we didn't have the ability to make fake ice
Well,
cream.
we were on the road in the middle of nowhere.
We were at 100 and whatever degrees,
Yes.
and I was so worried that we were going to make the Elizabeth and the other actors sick because it was so hot. You recall this?
Vaguely.
I was very upset. Like, oh God, I hope they don't get sick. I hope they don't get sick. And then the next day, Elizabeth Shue was like, "Oh my God, I've been throwing up all night." And she was totally joking.
Oh, I was gonna say I would have
Yeah.
remembered my
No,
great.
she was totally joking. I felt so bad.
Yeah, again, they were all a bunch of smartasses on that show.
They
That's
sure were.
good God, that's funny. So yeah, so let's talk about Palm Royale before we run out of time.
Palm Royale um, has been my passion and my love for 2 seasons.
Mm,
Not only because of the depth of the writing and the depth of the production design by John Carlos, who is an incredible production designer with just he's very young, but he has the sensibility, the artistic sensibilities of somebody who is 70 years old. I mean, he
wow.
just sees the depths and where this should go. And whereas I, I'm sure you feel the same, I like to run my department as a separate thing. And if I have questions or if I feel like I need to talk to the production designer or the set
Right.
decorator, I'm always open to that. It's, like figuring out textures and colors
Sure.
and all that stuff. Um, he's very open to that. And it's been such an incredible experience working with him and also the showrunner, Abe Sylvia,
Mm,
who is where all this, you've seen the series, where all this craziness comes from. And he pretty much lets me do my thing.
yeah, that's beautiful.
On season one, we had almost all the scripts. So
That's
we prepped almost the entire show, at least as far as very hero specific props were concerned.
right.
And a couple of weeks before we started shooting, we did a show and tell where we put probably 20 folding tables out with
Right.
covers and went from scene 101 to scene 859. And we
How much?
went through it was by far the largest show and tell I've ever done.
And how much prep did they give you to prep the whole season?
Six weeks.
Okay.
Not, it might have been 8 weeks, six
Yeah.
to 8 weeks.
Okay. Oh,
And went out there and brought him in. And of course, we had meetings and discussions and things like this. But at the end of the day, it was like, this is what I thought would be appropriate. And we went through 500 props.
wow.
And it was like, yep, 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 all the way down the line. Got to one place where he was like, can the rubies on that necklace be a little bit more red? I'm like, yes, great.
If
And
that's the only
yep, yep,
note,
yep,
absolutely.
yep, 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 all the way down the line. And season two was the same thing, where I would come up with an idea and I would say, this is what I'm thinking about this. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. And then somewhere in the process, I would be like, no, it should be way more like this. And I would go back and say, I'm sorry, I sent you that direction. What do you think about this? Oh yeah, that's much better.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just
It's
that's
all about
where
getting on the same page, right?
yeah, that's where it drives me. That's
Yeah.
where the passion is. Where and I'm sure you feel the same, where you can introduce things that they may or may not have thought of
Right.
in an artistic vein.
Yes. Well, and
And
again,
that's
that's one of those things too, Peach, where, you know, on a half hour, it's a half hour show or hour, I mean, or hour. Is it?
our
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. That's the difference between, because that's kind of what I'm missing right now on my half hour show is that I literally have just enough time to get
Right. Just making it up.
something, something decent. We try to do the best that we could do with the time frame that we have, but it's crazy how little
Yes.
time we have on these half hour comedies. As much as I like them for certain things, and when you do hit it out of the park, it's like really big because you had no time to do it. But I do miss that in the 1 hour and also in features.
Yeah,
Just
feature is the best way to do it, where
yeah,
you have time to think about it. I
yeah,
mean, as far as 1 hour period
yeah,
comedy,
it's tough.
that's right up there with half hour.
Did you
Only
cross board all of the whole season, or did you shoot them in order?
no, we cross boarded. The first season, we shot them a little bit more in order. The second season, we cross boarded all of them, and it was if you've seen the show, which you have, it's a lot of shit and trying to figure out where things are and who has this ring and who has that and what ring is in so and so's stomach and have they passed the ring, and it's just it's lunacy. But I have to tell you, Chris Cole, and I blame you partially responsible for where I am. I love this fucking business.
You have to.
It's so stupid.
It is.
There's so much money that gets spent on things that nobody ever sees, and the which I love. And I love all the trucks, and I love all the grip equipment, and I
Yeah,
love all of the lenses, and I love learning about the textures and the
sure.
artistry and all of that stuff. It just I
Yeah,
I have been blessed to be able to be a part of this.
100%. And it's one of those things where I kind of had took it for granted for a very long time, and now that I'm older, and now that I went like through the strike and through the pandemic with no work, um, I think if you've been in this business long enough, you come to expect the world to work like a film set. I mean, so many people working at the top of their game, you know, all working together collaboratively to get this impossible thing done in like such a short amount of time that it's almost like second nature to you're not doing it anymore. Then it's just like everything kind of pales in comparison to it. I worry about that with retiring, and then we're actually going to do a podcast coming up with some retirees to talk about, what's it like on the other side. I'm sure it's a double-edged sword. I'm sure because, of course, when you're not working, you discover this whole other life that exists outside, which is very uh, charming,
Scary.
but and something that's seems like where what I want to do, but then very quickly I fall back into this. Well, but I don't know, it's kind of like a drug, that
I agree with you 100%. And I just had this conversation with Jeffrey Johnson probably 3 weeks ago as I was wrapping out my last show. And like, quite honestly, and I would love to be a part of your retirement Zoom
uh,
or
you,
podcast.
you know, retire.
Well, I had probably 3 or 4 more years,
Right.
but um, it's terrifying to me
Yeah.
because there's just nothing that to be quite honest, when I'm working, that we have life and we have family and we have things that we need to do
Sure.
accordingly to that.
Right.
I am so better at doing those things when I'm working than when I'm not.
Yeah. It's
And it
interesting.
just, yeah, I don't know if
Yeah, I think it's the multitasker kicking.
it's, yeah, it's, I don't know if it's the
Right.
ADHD or the multitasking or whatever. The more you can give me, the better I feel and the more satisfied I feel about what I'm getting done.
Yeah, for me too, I also feel like I'm way better at my job than I am my life, you
Me
know?
too.
So
But I'm also way better at my life if I'm working.
yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I mean, and again, you like I have been working very consistently throughout our careers, and you actually have been working very consistently throughout these past couple years too. You've been very lucky to not be down a lot. And you hooked up with a couple good groups of people that keep you working, and you're blessed for that, my brother.
Yeah, no, I'm a unicorn for sure.
Yeah,
Very appreciative.
yes, 100%. And I do believe, like, because I'm on a lot at Universal, and things are picking up. Well, let's just put it out there to people. Lots getting busy,
Good.
and I'm hearing about people getting stuff, and I'm hearing about shows coming up, and I've actually gotten phone calls about them. So I think that come January, we're going to see a little bit of return.
Good. Keep me in mind. I am
Your
all
book,
ears.
based on a true story, is that coming back or is that done?
That is done. Unfortunately, it was a fucking blast.
That was a crazy show.
Yeah, it was nuts and it was so fun. And the actors are so incredible and so terrific. I had such a good time on that. And Missy Mansour, who I was a political hire on that show, which is never a comfortable thing.
Right.
The woman who took over this show running experience or took over as a showrunner brought me on to it.
I see.
A lovely, lovely woman named Annie Weissman, who,
Mm,
when I finished my third season of Physical, told me near the end of the third season, I never want to do a show without you. And she has never done a show without me.
wow.
Yeah,
That's
really
that's
great.
you hook up with the right people, man.
Yeah,
Who you're loyal to and they're loyal to you, and they got a lot of good ideas and irons in fire. You can sustain yourself pretty well.
can ride that out. And so, yeah, I got brought on to based on a true story through Annie, and we had some money issues going into it with the producer, and I was just honest about where my money came from as far as kit and truck and all that kind
Yep.
of stuff
Yep.
going into it. And they were like, "Well, we don't have," and I'm just like, Okay, then you asked me, this is what I'm telling you I
Right.
get, so let's figure it out." And so it was a little contentious at the beginning, and I ended up loving her so much.
Nice.
Yeah, she's terrific.
Like Sarah Kaplan.
Maybe not so much.
I
Unless you're Pete Clark.
oh
She
what
loved she loved Pete Clark.
oh that's cool. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
Pete told me, "Oh yeah, no, we were on the beach and I was giving her a foot massage."
Wow, that's saying something.
Yeah, for fucking sure. For
I actually learned throughout the years since 30 years ago in Alias that I respect Sarah Kaplan. I respect a producer who knows when to say no and understands. what it takes to get something done, and is not willing or not concerned about telling you the way it is. Because I've worked with a lot of jerk UPMs who are just not good people.
Just slimy people.
Sarah
Yeah.
just doesn't suffer fools, and I tell the story many times of being on Alias and being in a concept meeting and having Sarah Kaplan take the script and throw it across the table at the writers and say, "Go back and write something we can shoot."
Yeah. No.
So I respect that in her for sure, um, because there's nothing worse than a bad UPM and make your life completely hell,
I agree.
right? So, um, so
I wish I could. I wish I could have the amount of respect for her that you do.
well, that was your first time out, so you were like low
This
hanging
is true.
fruit.
There was the yeah, totally. She, I told you the story about my friend Dwayne buying her old house.
Mm-mm. Hmm.
So my friend Dwayne bought a house and called me and said, "Hey, do you know Sarah Kaplan? Isn't she the producer on Alias?" And I said, "I do." And he goes, "Well, we were just up in our attic. We just bought this house, and there's a whole bunch of stuff with her name on it."
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went over to his house, and he's was a set dresser. And I looked through these boxes, and it was like passports with notes and
Okay.
uh, notebooks with notes and stuff that clearly her husband at the time had written, who
Oh, right.
was uh,
Yes.
Permanent Midnight guy. Can't remember his name. Alf guy.
Yeah.
And so I probably at my young age was like, oh, I'm going to really make some points with Sarah. This is when I was prop mastering. You were gone.
Right.
And I said, hey, Sarah, I have a bunch of stuff from this house that my friends found. And she goes, okay, great. So I brought it to her office and I said, hey, I just want to let you know there's passports with your pictures and notes of where you've been and stuff. And she was like, what do you want, a fucking award? I was like, oh, okay, I'm out.
In fact, I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
have a nice day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She softened as she got older too. So, but yeah, they don't. Those kind of producers aren't around so much anymore.
No,
Worse.
no, which is both good and bad.
That's right. It is. Hey, I'm gonna ask you a really silly question to close us out.
Yep.
I don't know why, but it came to me today, and I thought, let's find out what Parker thinks. A couple things. Let's talk about craft service for a little bit.
Okay.
What's your favorite donut from craft service?
Don't like donuts.
Oh, come on, you just ruined it. Okay, you don't eat any donut. Well, what's your favorite thing to get at craft service?
I like the the Asian tacos.
Asian tacos, man. What craft service do you have?
Oh, I have Lee Poindexter. She kills.
Nice.
She kills.
But like, what craft service staple is like your favorite? Like some people like the little apple rings with the peanut butter and the
Yeah,
granola.
no, gross, gross.
Okay.
Um, again, this is Lee Poindexter, who has been doing my craft service for going on 7 years.
Oh,
She like
pickles.
pickles in a bag.
Well, all right. Like in a little handy bag,
Yeah, you
little
get the
pickle
pickles, you
bag.
open it up. I like to call them breakfast pickles because
Oh,
I usually have them at breakfast.
Do you have any craft service hacks?
Crafts. I'm not a big craft service guy. I have.
It's
I'm
not a snack.
sorry,
You're not
Chris
a,
Call. I'm sorry.
it's
I'm
okay.
failing you.
That's okay. Well, I'm gonna impart one of my craft service hacks to people because I love hard boiled eggs at Crafty. Because it's a whole food, and sometimes I don't want to eat a bunch of sugar either. But like if I want to eat something healthy, I could go for a hard boiled egg. But the problem is they're always cold.
This is true. They
And I
put
don't like hard
ice.
boiled eggs that are cold. That's kind of gross to me. So what I've discovered is that if you take a coffee cup from craft service and you fill it up with hot water and you drop your hard boiled egg in it and put the lid on it and wait like 5 minutes and then drain it, you're good to go. You got a hot hard boiled egg. So that's my big crafty tip for the day.
That's pretty good.
I have others. I'll save it for another show. But also, since we talked about craft service, I just wanted to briefly talk about what an ally craft service is to the prop department. Right? I mean, how many times has craft service bailed your ass out in the last minute when somebody decides they want to eat something that nobody ever talked about?
100%.
Right? And so it's a really great, that's one of the departments that I make sure I make contact with on any show. And hey, what do you need? I could get you whatever you want, so because there may be times I coming to you, like for instance, a good thing is ice. Whenever you need ice
Yep.
and you don't want to have to like try to make arrangements to have the ice delivered or whatever, a lot of times you could piggyback on the craft service.
Yes. Or caterers.
Yeah, or the caterers for sure.
Yep. And
Definitely.
I agree with you 100%. I try to make very good friends with both of those people, both of those departments.
Yes, absolutely. So is there anything that you wanted to say that you didn't say, Parker, about some of the
Yes,
crazy business?
there is.
What is that?
Chris Call,
Yes.
you and I have been through a lot together.
Yeah, we did dress day together. There's pictures out there. Anyway, go ahead.
I have them, and I have the photos that you gave me we were neighbors at Universal. I have all of those things. I so appreciate what you do, and I appreciate your passion, and we come from the same place.
Yeah,
You really drove me. You didn't drove me. You encouraged me to do what I do,
and you
and
do it so
you
great.
were responsible for it.
Well, I appreciate that. But again, it was very obvious early that you were passionate, and I know that you would turn out to be the great prop master that you are. And I could thank you too for giving me F1 for suggesting me
Oh
for
yeah, that's right.
sweet, sweet gig. And I had a lot of fun on that and had a great time with Gary and Robbie and Drew, and we just had a good time. So,
It was nice that you had a relationship with Brad too.
too, yeah, that helped for sure. I mean, that giant epic movie that he had been doing for 2 years, it was like, yeah, I showed up for a brief moment and it was great. I got to do a couple personal things for him that I normally wouldn't get to do, so that was fun.
Yeah, good.
Cool. Well, Peach, thanks for coming out again. We're gonna do this again at some point because there's just, I mean, well, I'll bring you on an episode where we just like, I want to do an episode where we just tell stories because they're so
I
cool.
think that's a good thing. I think I told you this before too. Like as we're nearing Halloween,
Yes.
I think I think you should have a nightmare episode where people tell stories about things that have gone horribly fucking
Oh yeah,
wrong.
that would be a blast. I
You
love.
can probably you could probably spend an hour on me.
Yeah, exactly. The fuck up episode.
Exactly.
Yeah, no doubt. How I learned by trial by fire, trial and error. Yeah, that would be fun. I mean, I don't know. I hope that it's not boring to people when we tell stories. But I think it's hilarious. Maybe I'm
All
just a guy who likes to want to tell stories now. But
right.
Mikey keeps me in check on that stuff. If I start going off on a tangent, he'll ask like a real question.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, or just like, yeah, tell us about your process. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, what about this story? But anyway, so this was fun, Peach. I appreciate you coming out. Do it, and we'll do it
Thanks, pal. I appreciate you having me. Um, do you remember when we were in Oxnard
Oxnard for
on
for
the beach
yeah,
with that big giant gun shootout bullshit, and then us having to drive home in the morning
yeah.
all night long for I think it was a week or close to a week?
It was nuts. I remember. Yep.
So stupid. I can remember like being
Everybody does it.
I know, but I can remember being in traffic and like
Oh,
I'll just close my eyes for a second.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And honk.
There's nothing worse to me than working all night and you're fine all night, and then you get in your car to drive home, and then the sun starts coming up. That is brutal to me when I'm trying to drive home after no sleep with the sun coming up, and all these commuters are like all fresh.
Yeah.
Just got out of the shower, and I'm fighting to stay awake. So yeah, I've bumped into the back of a few people
Yeah, me too.
for sure. So hopefully those days are pretty much behind us. I don't seem to think that there's that kind of abuse as much out there, at least not here in the States. But then again, there's no work, so they go to other
Well,
places where
there's
they,
that. Yeah. I think it's changed.
yeah, let's hope
Thank
so.
you, my friend. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and love to Charlotte and the girls,
Love to Lulu and the girls and the boys.
all the boys. Yes.
Yes.
All right,
I
pal.
I love you, my friend.
Love you too, my friend.
Bye
Absolutely.
for now.
We'll get together. And that's it. If, Mikey will probably add something on the end of this with all the announcements that he normally does, but I don't know them, so I won't be doing it.
Mikey, make it better.
He
Make
does.
my can you set my voice to sound better? Because I hate my voice.
Can you make me look like 20 years younger?
Or something. I don't care.
Here, my friend.
Love you.
Yeah, this has
Okay.
been another amazing episode of Prop Talk, the official podcast of the Property Masters Guild, brought to you by real working, retired, and associate prop people and prop masters. So, if this is your first time listening, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Do all this stuff wherever you're listening this. Go over to propertymastersguild.org and check out all the stuff with the PMG. Follow us on all the socials. We're on Instagram at _ the PMG and Facebook and all the other stuff. If you want to hear a specific prop master on the show or us to talk about a project, reach out on any of the things I just mentioned and let us know, and we will do our best. All right, that's it for now. Until next time.
Peace.